The next reason why we as Muslims believe that the Arabic language matters, why it is important, is its linguistic superiority. So now we've already mentioned at length the Arabic centrism of Islam, and we've mentioned our belief about the superiority of the Arabic language based on the tradition. However, we want to make sure that we found that to support our claim to the wider audience from the non-Muslims, we want to ground our claims in hardcore academic realities, right? And so this is why I felt important that we talk about this separately. So Arabic matters because of its linguistic superiority. By linguistic superiority, we mean that as a language, it is superior to others. And when I use the word linguistic, I mean it in the sense the science is used. So when you talk about linguistics, you talk about all the wider body of sciences that come within it. Okay, so linguistics, if it's talking about its syntax, its morphology, its etymology, its discourse analysis, its eloquence, its metaphor, its linguistic history, its development, the size of its vocabulary bank, and so on and so forth. Based on all those realities, the Arabic language is superior. However, this notion of linguistic superiority is not accepted in the academic circles, in the Western framework of linguistics. If you study any course on linguistics, you go to any top university, or you go to any university in the West, and you take a course on linguistics, one of the first things you will learn are the two principles around which linguistics works, the framework. And the first principle, which is the crux of it really, is the fact, it's the notion, it's the belief, it's the axiom that the whole science of linguistics builds itself upon. And that is that no language is superior to another. Okay, all languages are observed on an individual basis, and each language has its own unique characteristics and the ability to grow and so on and so forth, regardless of the fact that, it is not a developed language in the present instance. It might grow in the future, so therefore we shouldn't assume its superiority given the current time. However, we don't believe that entire framework is faulty, and it is against our aqidah, so we have to challenge it. And the way we challenge it is to say that languages are superior. There are languages which are above others, which are better than others, based on a few realities, such as how complex and how easy, complex or easy, its syntax structure is, right? How advanced and developed its morphological structure is. How does the science of etymology work in it? Is it an inflected language? Because inflected languages generally are superior to the non-inflected languages because of a few reasons. They don't need as many characters. They don't need they don't need as many words. They can convey a lot more meaning with just the same words, but changing the structure of the sentence and the shape of the words and so on and so forth. Inflect them at the end, change its case ending. These are abilities. These are certain characteristics that others don't have, and these are positive characteristics. And when we analyze all of this, we come to the conclusion that these different aspects of a language, its syntax, its morphology, its eloquent, all of these different aspects of a language, when they come together, they make a language, right? So if a language is superior, is better, it has a better syntax structure to another language, it has a more advanced morphological structure to another language, it has the optimal degree of inflection, then, and of course it has a wider bank of vocabulary, which is more expressive, it is more colorful and vibrant and rich, then surely all of these aspects, if it is better than any other language in each of these aspects, then surely as a whole the language should be better. Now, subhanAllah, this is not something that we of course take for granted and say as it is. We rely on academic sources. Now, just to assert that our belief, for example, here I have some statements from classical ulama who assert the same belief about the Arabic language. Right? So we don't accept this Western postmodernist structure of the study of languages. We believe certain languages are superior to others based on these different criteria, and Arabic surpasses all others. I'll mention the Islamic sources first. So Abu Hatim al-Razi, rahimahullah, he was one of the pioneers in the Arabic language and also Muhaddith. He mentions, the fact that, or in his book, and then in the chapter فضل لغة العرب is الزينة في الكلمات الإسلامية. This is his book, and then he mentions it in the chapter of فضل لغة العربية, the virtue of the Arabic language. He says, or he mentioned in it, that the languages of the human race are many, and it's not possible for us to fully enumerate them, how many there are. And the most virtuous of all of them are four: the Arabic language, the Hebrew language, the Syriac language, and the Farsi language. وأن أفضل هذه الأربعة لغة العرب. And the most virtuous, the most superior to all of this, all of these four, is the Arabic language. فهي أفصح اللغات وأكملها وأتمها وأعذبها وأبينها. It is the most complete, the most full and perfect, and the most sweet, and the most expressive, the most clear in its expression. Now this next statement will amaze you, and it's something that, subhanAllah, it's quite a hard statement to make, but this is a reality. Now, Ibn Faris, rahimahullah, in his book As-Sahibi, is one of the first books to have ever been written on the science of Fiqhul Lughah, essentially. And in the chapter of Babu Lughat al-Arabi, أفضل اللغات وأوسعها, in the chapter of the Arabic language being the most virtuous, the most superior of all the languages, and the most expansive of it, the most comprehensive of it, he refers to the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, لِتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُنذِرِينَ بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ, so that you may be a warner in the clear Arabic language. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, he goes on to say, comment on this ayah. He says, so I'll just keep to English so it's easier for the audience. Basically, he says that when Allah Azza wa Jal, he chose the Arabic language, he specified it, right, with this bayan. He said Allah Azza wa Jal chose the Quran in the Arabic language. So the Arabic language is the chosen language for the communication of this last message. We learn from this that all the rest of the languages are deficient, they are deficient than it, and they are lesser than it, than the Arabic language. Okay, and if someone said to you, or if someone said, sometimes, not sometimes, I mean, other people speak too. They may not speak Arabic language, but they speak their tongues, so they can express themselves. It's not like they don't express themselves. How do you mean the Arabic language is the most expressive? Right? How do you mean that? Right? Because if I was to, explain something, say something, I want water, I've actually conveyed, I want water. I've conveyed my need to have some water. I've expressed myself. So Ibn Faris, rahimahullah, he replies to him in these words. He says, إن كنت تريد أن المتكلم بغير اللغة العربية قد يعرب عن نفسه حتى يفهم السامع مراده فهذا أخص مراتب البيان. So if you want to say that, someone who speaks without the Arabic language, other than the Arabic language, that sometimes he can express, or that he does express himself, until the point, until the person that he's referring to, who's addressing, he understands it, his need, or his information that he's conveying, or whatever the thing that he's trying to express. Then this is the, this is the most base level of expression, because even the dumb people who can't speak, even they can, point at different things and then make you understand they want water, or they want something like that. Like they can express themselves too. You don't call them, mutakallim. You don't call them a speaker, right? Let alone to call them, clear and eloquent, so forth. So just like he's basically comparing dumb people, right, to all the non-Arabs, the non-Arab tongues, basically. Astaghfirullah. But the point is that this is a harsh statement, but this is true, right? Even a dumb person even a dumb person can convey himself, he can express himself, right? But he's not considered eloquent or clear in his speech. The same is the case for any other tongue other than the Arabic language. وَإِنْ أَرَدْتَ أَنَّ سَائِرَ اللُّغَاتِ تُبَيِّنْ إِبَانَةَ اللُّغَةِ الْعَرَبِيَّةِ فَهَذَا غَلَط. If you intend to say that all the rest of the languages express themselves equally well, the same way as Arabic language does, then this is a mistake. Harsh statement, but this is a reality, right? Don't compare apple with oranges. That's not how it works. Arabic language, and this is essentially, these are the ulama of our Lughah. These are the ulama who have preserved the Arabic language for us, and they knew the richness of it, right? How exotic this language is and how rich it is, right? They went through the entire length of it. They canonized the dictionaries and its resources, so they know what they're saying. However, this is not just the kalam of the Arabs. We want to mention some of the non-Muslim Orientalists and authors who have talked about this. For example, I'll just mention a couple and we'll just come back to our topic. He mentions, اللغة العربية تفوق سائر اللغات رونقا وغنى ويعجز اللسان عن وصف محاسنها. So, I think this is a Russian author, Karlo Nilenov, but he mentioned essentially the fact that the Arabic language, it surpasses any other language, all other languages, right, in terms of its glory and in terms of its richness, right? And the tongue is, it's unable to describe its beauty. The American Orientalist Van Dyck, he says, العربية أكثر لغات الأرض امتيازا وهذا الامتياز من وجهين الأول من حيث ثروة معجمها والثاني من حيث استيعابها آدابها. He says that the Arabic language is the most is a language so it's the most it is the most so the word imtiyaz could be said like it is the most it's a distinguished language, from the rest of the languages of the world. Why? Because of two reasons. He mentions one, it's because of its rich collection of its rich vocabulary bank, and then as well how it has collected the etiquettes of its people, its mannerisms, its sensations, how they used to think, how they used to sit. So its etiquettes of an entire nation have been preserved, right? No other nation, and this point of preservation, we'll mention it in the forthcoming lecture, but subhanallah, these are the sentiments that a lot of other, not just these, and we have a list of some of these authors here. The point is not to mention all of them. The Muslim scholars of antiquity, old scholars, and the modern day non-Muslim Western academics, they also express they have expressed and confessed to the linguistic superiority of the Arabic language. Okay, so Arabic language matters to us because we are the Ummah of the most superior language on the face of this earth. And this is one of the reasons why Allah Azza wa Jal chose this language to be the final vehicle, the vehicle of the final message, the Quran.